a 40-year-old woman who have told me that when they stopped reciting Qur'an was when they hit puberty. And the only person in their masjid who could teach was the imam. And he said, I'm not comfortable teaching women. And they were so impacted by that that they started feeling more and more distant from Islam. And they've told me that now that they've been hearing women recite the Qur'an again, in their 40s, for the first time, they're opening the Qur'an again. That's a generational reality. That's having children. That's going to 60 and 70 and 80 and maybe having grandchildren. And not opening the Qur'an or never reciting it out loud in your private space because you don't know that as a woman the Qur'an is for you. And in the Qur'an, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about how women were present. And the Queen of Sheba is asked about what to do when she's asking for advice from her advisors what to do about Sulaiman alayhi salam's letter. She talks about what muluk do when they come into the new land and they ruin the land. And then there's an ayah right after she speaks and it says, وَكَذَلِكَ يَفْعَلُونَ. And it could be as if she's saying, and that's what they do. But scholars of tafsir say that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala affirming her intelligence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has recorded the voices of women in the Qur'an for a reason. Whenever you, as a woman, may feel like you're not sure of your status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or you're confused, when you're questioning that part of yourself as a woman, I've been asked by Muslim women, sincerely asking with tears in their eyes, did Allah create women to be like somewhere between an animal and a man? Is that our level with Allah? And if that's what Allah wants, that's fine. I accept that because that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants, but is that it? When we have an 8-year-old asking that question, and then she becomes a 28-year-old who has internalized that, and then she potentially raises children with that internalization, where does our entire ummah go? We often talk about the next generation and Islam for the next generation. If women are feeling disenfranchised in this generation, who are the great-grandchildren? Who are they tracing it back to? To save the future of our ummah, we need to support women right now. Because whether or not she or you are ever going to be mothers, because subhanAllah, Allah has willed each and every one of us to have a different role for a reason. He says, subhanahu wa ta'ala, هُوَ جَتَبَاكُمْ. He has chosen you. And Imam al-Tabari mentions He's chosen you for a quality that He sees inside of you, even if you don't see it yourself. He created you to be a woman of this ummah. And right now, and honestly forever, maybe absolutely no one will know our names. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't forget. And one day we are going to be those women in history. So the question isn't whether or not your voice matters. The question is, what are we going to do to make the future generations of Muslims look and say, the women of the past changed the course of history because of their strength in their belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.